Hey guys, what's up? Khody here. Today I'm going to be talking about Minecraft PvP tips and tricks that people may not know about or might not even acknowledge. And yeah, we're going to get into that right now. So, there's going to be, first of all, there's going to be 3 games that I mentioned. And the 3 games are going to be CSGO, League of Legends, and Minecraft, obviously. So, these are 3 completely different games, obviously. And that's why I'm going to mention them. And in this episode, the first episode, we're going to be talking about one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, probably, is going to be aiming and sensitivity. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. So, if you guys don't want to hear about CSGO, League of Legends, or even Minecraft, kind of how I talk about them, then skip ahead like a minute or 2 in the video and you'll be fine. So, first thing what I'm going to talk about is CSGO. And there are 2 sensitivities in CSGO, basically every kind of game. And we're going to be talking about both of them, and I'm going to give you my opinion at the end, or kind of in between, or whatever, right? So, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't matter, but, yeah. So, the first game is CSGO. Now, CSGO, for the most part, if you are rifling, which more than likely you are, unless you just like to op, because opping is fun, you want to have a low sensitivity because it's all about movement, to be honest. Aiming is all about movement, and the faster a player moves, the higher sense you want to have to be able to keep up with those movements, and the lower sense, or the lower movement that a game has, the lower sense that you have, so it can be as precise as possible. Now, I'm going to be playing some duels as I talk about this, to be honest, so if I don't pay much to gameplay, then I am sorry, but that's just how it's going to be. And I'm going to be playing with my normal settings for right now, and I'll go into lower sense and higher sense, and I'll show them off, and why I don't think they're good, and their pros and cons, and really everything has pros and cons. Nothing's perfect, nothing is absolute, nothing I say is like 100% factual truth evidence that'll make you a better PvPer overnight. And like I said, there is no getting better overnight, there is no becoming a god overnight, there is no becoming a god in a week or a month, or even a few months. It literally is just... It's just gameplay. It's just having actual experience into the game. You can't pick up a game and automatically be the best at it, right? You know, it's going to take lots and lots of hours, lots and lots of experience, lots and lots of just learning the game and learning the best way to play it and the most precise way to play it, and, you know, all that. So, CSGO, the models and the character, not really the models, be talking about the movement speed and how characters move and how kind of just how characters move in certain games such as CSGO, League of Legends, and Minecraft. So, CSGO, obviously, if you have ever played CSGO, the characters move pretty slow compared to other games such as Smite, League of Legends, or even Minecraft. And like I said, all 3 games are different and you know, each of their own ways. But for the most part, if you are playing competitive CSGO or even casual CSGO, the characters do not move that fast. The movement speed is not that fast. And obviously in that game, you die really, really fast. So, if you're going to die really, really fast, it obviously means the enemy team, or the enemy are going to die really, really fast. Obviously in that game, one headshot, or one shot to the head, you know, throughout, or, you know, without any wall bangs, or without any shooting through walls, or shooting through anything, one shot to the head with an AK, as the terrorist side, is going to be a one-shot kill, which is why a lot of people will switch to lower sense, especially if they are I'm dead. Especially if they are a rifler. Now, if you're an opper, then yeah, that's where higher sensitivity comes into, because you're going to be doing a lot more flicks. You're probably going to be taking a lot more shots, and you're not going to be aiming to the head as riflers would. Because obviously ops one shot most of the time, you know, from the hip up, basically one shots, and, you know, you don't have to be as precise. So, higher sensitivity, having those flicks, and just having to take kind of more overall shots than a rifler, you know, that's where high sense comes into if you're opping. But if you're not opping, and if you're just rifling, you want to have lower sense, so you can be as precise to aim to the head, to aim for the head, to get those quick kills, and be as precise as you can. Now, Smite or League of Legends, I have not played League of Legends that much. I have about 700 hours in Smite, though, and I just play with default sense, but my DPI is 800. Now, DPI really quick, I would recommend obviously a lower side of the DPI. I would not stick with default because 1600, at least for me, if you're using a Razer product, the default DPI should be 1600. So I would literally half that. Turn your DPI down by half, which is 800, which is a decent medium to use. And I did a little bit of research, not that much obviously, but I did a little bit of research, and a lot of people, whether it be pros or just normal people like us, or normal people like us, like me, whoever, people tend to use either 400 DPI or 800 DPI. Now, for me, personally, like I said, personal preference, which is a thing you do not want to hear, obviously, which I don't think you want to hear, because, like, you came for this video to be better, and to get better, and to, you know, to get advice and to get tips. But in my opinion, since everyone thinks I cheat, and everyone thinks I hack, and I don't know why people call me out for B-hop. That just makes no sense, to be honest. But yeah, if you're coming to this video, you most likely want to get better. And in my opinion, you don't want to have too low of a sense, and you don't want to have too high of a sense. And DPI doesn't really matter. To be honest, DPI really only affects your mouse cursor movement. Also, it can obviously affect your in-game sensitivity. And this is a person I used to know, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so like I said, CSGO you won't have as precise aim as you can. And then with Smite, I just play with default, and it is a really high setting, I will agree with. But in Smite and in MOBAs, you don't have to really be that precise because of the attack patterns and the waves and all that, and just everything is kind of is big, right? Like, they have different abilities that they can use to where they raise a lot bigger, so you don't have to be as accurate. And people in those games are moving a lot faster because they have dashes, they have teleporting, they have, you know, basically anything, right? Even the movement speed. So yeah, the movement speed is a big factor on if you have, at least in my opinion, is why you should have lower high sense. And in Smite, like I said, even League of Legends, people are moving fast, people are teleporting, people are dashing, and all this other stuff, right? They're moving really fast. Even with, you know, movement speed in their kit or their build, or whatever you want to call it, they're going to have movement speed. And in Minecraft, it's kind of both, to be honest, because people can have speed 2, speed 3, even speed 4 in UHC, to be honest. And yeah, it's honestly, in my opinion, the best thing to do is have a medium in between sense. You don't want to have one that's too high to where you're too imprecise, you know, you're too inaccurate, but you also don't want to have one to where, you know, you basically can't move your mouse because the person's moving too fast and your hits aren't going to be as accurate, and your hits and melee aren't going to be as accurate. So yeah, so in Minecraft, I do prefer a medium sense. So, and there we go, GG. So, yeah, in medium sense, characters can move really, really slow in Minecraft because whether it be just default speed or slowness, you know, or whether it be, you know, with speed 2, speed 3, even speed 4 in UHC, you know. For example, if you have Fate with Hermes, you're going to get like speed 3.5, 3.6, and, you know, obviously if you have low sensitivity, you're not going to be able to track them as good, because they're moving really, really fast. With high sense, it's going to be a lot easier, because, you know, you're not going to have to be, like, moving your mouse all across, you know, around your mouse pad and desk and all this other stuff, so, yeah, like I said, there's two sides to this, because Minecraft is different. They can either be really, really slow, or they can be really, really fast. And obviously, the slower they are, you know, the better low sense is going to be, because your aim's going to be a lot better. The higher sense, or the higher movement speed they have, like I said, speed 2, speed 3, speed 4, the higher, you know, sense of things, the higher spectrum of sense is going to be a lot better for that, because you're going to be able to track them and not have to break your arm. So, yeah, I play with medium sense. My settings are 800 DPI with 600 or 60% in-game. So 800 DPI, 60% in-game sensitivity. And yeah, so I would prefer a in-between sense, not one that you feel that's too low to where, you know, you're not going to be able to place your lava buckets and, like, you know, kind of like if I place my lava bucket, then I can switch up to him really fast. So obviously if you have low sense, you're not going to be able to do that as fast or as quickly and be as precise, because everything's going to be a lot slower. If you have high sense, though, it's going to be too inaccurate, and I think this guy just give up. I think he's Russian or Serbian or something like that. But I'm sorry, man, dude. I cannot have people waiting, because, yeah, that's not nice. But yeah, so like I said, if I do place my lava, then I can just hurry up and, you know, kind of flick up onto them. Same thing with my water. If they like put me on fire, or if like I knock them away for a second, I can just, you know, quickly, you know, water bucket or FNS or whatever it may be, right? So we'll go to lower sense. We'll lower my sense by 20%. I think 5%, or yeah, 1/5, which is 20%, obviously. So this is pretty slow for me, and I'm going to explain the cons of this. And like I said, the pros are basically your aim is going to be a lot more precise, especially if there is no speed involved. So if you're playing like SG or I don't even know, like Bed Wars maybe, like Bed Wars SG. SG is the main game mode that I can think of, because there's no speed at all in SG that you can even get. So if you play survival games, or if you did, then a lower sense is probably the way to go, because your bow is going to be more precise, your aiming and your hits are going to be more precise, because your crosshair is going to be on them. Because when you're comboing someone, they don't really move that much. They kind of just move in the way that you're comboing them. So your crosshair is going to be on them basically all the time you have low sense. But, such as for, like I said, like this, when it kind of gets to where they get faster, it's going to be harder. And, when you're trying to water bucket, you're going to have to be, like, moving your mouse around a lot. So it's going to be really tiring. But like I said, if you feel like that's the way, then go. But my advice, that's not the way you should go. And this is my new pack that I am working on with my friend. Well, he's kind of working on it. I'm just kind of telling him what to add, or kind of giving him, just telling him what I want, to be honest. But I'll just get a gap. And like I said, even like when you lava someone, it's going to be really hard to get that fast interaction of like doing that and like, going straight up to their body and all that stuff. So, and even like watering yourself, you like get on fire, it's going to be really hard to do those 180s. And like I said, if they have like speed and you're trying to 180 flick onto them, if you like go through each other's body, or if you're just trying to do like 90-degree or 180 flicks on someone, especially if they're moving fast, you're gonna be pretty inaccurate because it's gonna be really slow. And yeah, so we're gonna move my sense up to 20% now. And like I said, the cons of this, the pros of this is having a better chance to actually hit them if they have like really high speed. And like I said, that's not always going to be the situation, which is why I recommend medium speed. But as for high speed, you're going to be really, really inaccurate, and you're not going to be as precise as you could be if you're playing with the low sense. And these kind of go hand in hand. Low sense and high sense kind of go hand in hand. They're kind of opposites. With low sense, you're going to have really, really good aim, but not be able to do those 180s kind of really precise and accurately, and not do them as fast. And, Minecraft is a fast-paced game, but it can also be a slow-paced game. So, like I said, it can go hand in hand. But, yeah. And then, obviously, if you're using high sensitivity, your aim is not going to be as precise. And you might miss a few hits that you might actually get if, your aim was, a bit better, even with lower sense, because lower sense does help your aim. And you're not going to be able to get those hits I usually would, because you're using such a high sense. But it is better for obviously like, water bucketing and doing those 180s and being able to snap onto people if like you go through each other, or if you just like hear someone behind you and you flick onto them really fast and that kind of stuff. So it's going to help with that, but it's definitely going to, make your aim a lot worse. So Minecraft can be both. It can be, fast-paced, it can be slow-paced. Like I said, rotting comes into the equation, and bowing comes into the equation, and this is where I kind of draw my conclusion on which sensitivity is better. But overall, in my opinion, before I even decided what sensitivity I would use, I kind of just, always figured that Minecraft was obviously a high-paced game and a low-paced game, or a fast-paced game and a slow-paced game. So, yeah, as you can probably tell, I use medium sense, which I believe is the best, because your aim, you know, even though it's going to take a while to get used to, your aim is going to be a lot better, and you're also going to be able to do those 180 flicks onto people, and even though you're going to be more inaccurate with high sense, you're still going to be able to, like, you know, do those 180s to lava bucket and water bucket and all that. So, yeah, I play with medium sense. Like I said, my settings are 800 DPI, which is, you know, probably like average for some people. Like I said, some people use 400, some people use 800, some people use 1600. Like I said, if you do use default 1600, if it even is default for your mouse, then I would recommend halving it. Like I said, I think 800 is perfectly fine. You can still move your mouse on your desktop, and you can move it perfectly fine. 800 DPI is not that slow, to be honest. It's kind of in the middle. It's really comfortable for me. So yeah, with medium sensitivity, you're going to be able to kind of practice your aim, obviously, and practice your lobbying, and you're still going to be able to do both, because with having a higher sense, you're going to be able to do those fast kind of like water buckets and fast lava bucketing and all that kind of stuff, and still be accurate. Same thing with aiming. Your aim is still going to be good. Even if they're moving fast with speed 2 or speed 3, you're still going to be able to have that precision. So it's kind of both, in my opinion. And like I said, it really just depends on what game mode you're playing. But for me, overall, you know, medium sense is better. You can also have that precision, but you can also have those fast flicks and those fast, like, water bucketing. And, like, if you want to water bucket really quick, go back. If you want to lava and then, you know, look at them and hit them and all that, which is what you do in Minecraft. And yeah, basically just left and right clicking is what I'm trying to say. Left clicking for your accuracy and your precision and your aim on them, and right clicking to like FNS or lava bucket or water bucket, whatever it may be, right? So, like I said, they kind of go hand in hand. But I drew my conclusion with my rodding and my bowing. Now, obviously, with the rodding and bowing, and you know the conclusion I came from, which isn't really a good example. And I'll probably explain this more in another video about like predicting their movements and keystrokes and hotkeying and, you know, strafing and all this, right? So, like I said, before any of this, it really just comes down to personal preference. And like I said, I know that that's not really what you want to hear, but it really is. But yeah, my opinion, medium sense in between. You're still gonna have that precision. You're still gonna have those 180s to where someone's coming up behind you, or you guys just run through each other. But the breaking point for me in the conclusion is to have a lower side of the medium sense scale. So like I said, if you want to, try out my settings. If you want to, I'm not saying they're going to make you a god overnight. You know, there is no being the best Minecraft PvPer ever overnight. It's going to take months, probably even like years to be, like, become as best as you can, right? So there really is no, like, overnight, you know, become the best player, become even, like, you know, 50% better. I give you tips, but, you know, like I said, nothing I say is factual, nothing I say is 100% true. This is all my opinion, all my advice, all my tips that I can give you, and that I know of, and I'm not going to leave anything out. But, yeah, like I said, I'm going to go into predicting their movements and bowing and rodding in another episode, but that's a breaking point for me. And yeah, you want to be as precise as you can with a bow and a rod, because obviously your rod helps you get combos and a bow helps you get damage in. So if you can be precise with those two, especially your melee, then you're going to be, you know, pretty good. You know, you're going to be well off. So, but yeah, like I said, overall, just medium sense. Like I said, Minecraft is both a slow and fast-paced game. You want to be able to have that precision when meleeing, but you also want to be able to do those 180s and be able to place like your water bucket and lava bucket pretty fast. So obviously you don't drop or you don't die or whatever, right? So, like I said, the breaking point was, you know, my rodding sensitivity and my bow sensitivity, and also Huakui went off this as well. So Huakui obviously went off his bow sensitivity. So whatever he felt good was, you know, whatever sensitivity he felt, you know, bowing with was good, he would stick with that. But I just think medium sense overall. And like I said, if you do find a medium sense, not one that's too high, not one that's too low, I would recommend going on a lower size. I'll probably lower it by like 5-10%, and you'll be fine. Just play with it, and like I said, there'll be more videos. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.